You're really going to be this selfish? After everything we've done for you? My mother's voice cut through the bridal shop. I stood on the platform in my wedding dress. The seamstress froze mid-pin. 2 other brides-to-be turned to stare. My sister Amanda sat in the corner, mascara running down her cheeks. My father stood by the door, arms crossed, blocking my exit. "Mom, we're in public," I whispered. "I don't care who hears this. Your sister needs you. Family comes first." The seamstress quietly excused herself. The other customers pretended not to watch while definitely watching. I looked at myself in the 3-way mirror. White lace. Fitted bodice. The dress I'd saved for 8 months to afford. The dress I was supposed to wear in 6 weeks when I married the love of my life. "We're not asking for much," my father said. "Just postpone the wedding. Use that money to help your sister start a family." What they didn't know was that I'd already made my choice. And it wasn't them. "My name is Sophie Carter and I am 29 years old. I live in Portland, Oregon, where I work as a senior accountant for a tech company. I've been part of the Morrison family since they adopted me when I was 7 years old. For 22 years, I've watched my sister Amanda get everything she ever wanted. Every opportunity, every dollar, every ounce of our parents' love and attention. I was the backup daughter, the one they could count on to understand, to sacrifice, to make myself smaller so Amanda could shine. But that was about to end. Amanda was everything my parents wanted in a daughter. 4 years older than me, blonde, outgoing, effortlessly charming. She'd been their biological child, their first baby, their princess. I was the charity case, the adopted daughter, the one they took in to look good at church. When I was 10, I made the honor roll for the first time. Straight A's in every subject. I brought home my report card so proud I could barely breathe. My mother glanced at it and said, "That's nice, sweetie." Then she turned to Amanda and asked about her cheerleading tryouts. Amanda hadn't made the squad. She'd forgotten half the routine. But my parents took her out for ice cream anyway to cheer her up. My report card sat on the kitchen counter for 3 days before I put it in my backpack myself. Nobody mentioned it again. When Amanda turned 16, my parents bought her a brand new Honda Civic. Pearl white with leather seats. They threw a party with 100 guests. There was a banner that said, "Sweet 16 Amanda." When I turned 16, I got a card with $50 in it. My mother said they couldn't afford much because Amanda's college fund needed priority. I took the $50 and bought myself a used bike from a neighbor. I rode that bike to my part-time job at the library every day for 2 years. Amanda went to the University of Oregon. Full tuition paid by our parents. She got a monthly allowance of $700 for expenses. New laptop, designer clothes, a meal plan at the nicest dining hall. I went to community college on student loans and 2 part-time jobs. When I asked my parents for help with a $95 textbook, my father said education was an investment I needed to make in myself. I worked 40 hours a week while taking a full course load. I graduated with a 3.9 GPA and $30,000 in debt. When Amanda graduated with a 2.4 GPA and a degree she never used, my parents threw a party at the country club. Catered food, open bar, a slideshow of her college memories. When I graduated summa cum laude and got hired at my first accounting firm, I mentioned it at Sunday dinner. My mother said congratulations and immediately asked Amanda about her new boyfriend. They didn't come to my graduation. Amanda had a hair appointment that day that my mother said couldn't be rescheduled. The worst was when I overheard my father talking to his brother at a family barbecue. I was 19. "Amanda's the one with real potential," he said. "Sophie's a hard worker, but she'll never be exceptional. She doesn't have it in her DNA." His brother laughed. "Well, you know, she's not really yours." "Exactly. We did our Christian duty taking her in. But you can't expect miracles." I stood behind the fence holding a tray of hamburger buns. I set the tray down and walked to my car. I sat there for 20 minutes before I could breathe normally again. I learned to expect nothing, to celebrate my own achievements alone, to build a life in the spaces where they never looked. It was easier that way, less disappointing. The wedding dress fitting was supposed to be a happy day. I'd invited my mother and Amanda. Tried one more time to include them in something that mattered to me. My best friend Lauren had warned me it was a bad idea. She'd been right. The appointment started fine. We looked at dresses. I tried on 6 before finding the one. When I stepped out in it, even the saleswoman teared up. "You look stunning," she said. Lauren grabbed my hand. "Sophie, this is it. This is your dress." I looked at my mother, waited for her to say something. Anything. She was looking at her phone. "Mom?" I said. "Oh, yes, it's lovely." She didn't look up. Amanda was crying in the corner. I thought maybe they were happy tears, that maybe she was moved by seeing me in a wedding dress. "Amanda, are you okay?" I asked. "I can't do this," she sobbed. My mother immediately went to her. "Sweetie, what's wrong?" "It's not fair. Sophie gets to have this perfect wedding while my life is falling apart." I stepped down from the platform carefully. "What are you talking about?" That's when she told me. She and her husband Jason had been trying to get pregnant for 2 years. Nothing was working. They'd seen a fertility specialist. The doctor recommended IVF. "It's our only chance," Amanda said. "But it costs $35,000. Insurance won't cover it." "I'm sorry," I said, and I meant it. That must be really hard. "We can't afford it," my mother said. Not after helping Amanda with the down payment on her house last year. That down payment had been $60,000. I'd been told there was no money to help me with anything because they were stretched thin. "We'll figure something out," I told Amanda. That's when my father spoke up. "Actually, we have an idea." "Your wedding is costing what? $40,000? $32,000, I said quietly. "And David and I are paying for most of it ourselves." "Most of it. But we gave you $15,000. They'd given me $5,000. And I'd had to ask 3 times before they agreed. "If you postpone the wedding," my mother said gently, "you could use that money to help Amanda. Family helps family, Sophie." I stared at her. "You want me to cancel my wedding?" "Not cancel. Postpone. You and David can have a simple courthouse ceremony. Get legally married. Then have the big celebration later when you've saved up again." "My wedding is in 6 weeks. Amanda's IVF cycle needs to start in 4 weeks or she'll have to wait another 6 months. Her eggs aren't getting any younger." The seamstress had returned with pins. She stood awkwardly by the door. "We'll leave you to think about it," my father said. "There's nothing to think about," I said. "I'm getting married in 6 weeks. As planned." Amanda's crying got louder. "See? She doesn't care about me at all." "Sophie, be reasonable," my mother said. "I am being reasonable. You're asking me to cancel my wedding. The wedding I've been planning for a year. The wedding I've saved for. The wedding that's already paid for with non-refundable deposits." "Money isn't everything," my father said. The irony was staggering. "Amanda needs this," my mother pleaded. "She needs to be a mother. It's all she's ever wanted." "And I've wanted a wedding," I said. "A real wedding with my family there. Supporting me. Happy for me." "We are happy for you," my mother said. "But this is more important." There it was. The truth they'd always believed but rarely said out loud. Amanda's wants were more important than my needs. Always had been. Always would be. "No," I said. "Excuse me?" My father's voice went cold. I said no. I'm not canceling my wedding. I'm not giving Amanda my money. I'm getting married on September 15th as planned. I turned to the seamstress. "Can you please finish pinning the dress? I have another appointment in an hour." My mother stood up. "If you do this, you're showing your true colors. We'll know exactly what kind of person you really are." "Good," I said. "Then there won't be any confusion anymore." They left. Amanda first, sobbing dramatically. My mother with a look of pure disappointment. My father without a word. The door chimed as they walked out. Lauren put her arm around me. "You okay?" My hands were shaking. My heart was pounding. But I felt something else too. Relief. I was done apologizing for taking up space in my own life. What my parents didn't know was that the $15,000 they claimed to have given me was actually $5,000. And I hadn't spent it on the wedding. I'd invested it. Turned it into $12,000 over 18 months through careful stock choices. The wedding was paid for entirely by money David and I had saved. My salary as a senior accountant was $85,000 a year. David made $92,000 as a software engineer. We'd been saving $3,000 a month for the past year. We had the wedding fully funded plus a down payment ready for a house. But I'd learned early not to tell my family about my financial success. It only gave them a reason to ask for money or minimize my achievements. What they also didn't know was that I'd just been offered a promotion. Controller position. Salary of $120,000 a year. I was starting the week after my honeymoon. I was 29 years old and making more than both my parents combined. More than Amanda and Jason combined. But when Amanda got her first job as a receptionist making $32,000 a year, my parents threw a celebration dinner. Champagne. Speeches about her bright future. When I got my CPA license 3 years ago, passing one of the hardest professional exams in the country, I mentioned it at Sunday brunch. My father said, "That's good. Accounting is stable work." Then he asked Amanda about her new car. I'd stopped sharing my wins. Stopped expecting recognition. Stopped hoping they'd be proud. It hurt less that way. I stood up during the fitting. The seamstress was still pinning. Lauren was watching me carefully. "I need to make a phone call," I said. I stepped into the changing room. Called David. "Hey," he answered. "How's the fitting going? My parents asked me to cancel our wedding." Silence. "Then what?" I told him everything. The IVF, the money. The demand that I postpone our wedding and give Amanda the funds. "That's insane," David said. "Please tell me you said no." I said no. "Good. Sophie, you know I'll support whatever you decide." But that's not a reasonable ask. That's not even in the same universe as reasonable. They left angry. Let them be angry. We're getting married in 6 weeks. Your family can either show up and be happy for you, or they can stay home. Either way, that day is about us. I loved him so much in that moment. "You're right. I'm always right. It's one of my best qualities," I laughed. It felt good. "Finish getting your dress fitted. Then come home. I'll make dinner and we can watch that show you like. The one you hate?" I don't hate it. I just don't understand why anyone needs 5 seasons to solve one mystery. It's called character development. It's called bad pacing. But I'll watch it anyway because I love you. I love you too. I hung up and went back out. The seamstress finished the pinning. The dress would be ready in 4 weeks. I looked at myself in the mirror one more time. I looked happy. I looked like a bride. I looked like someone who was done shrinking herself for people who would never appreciate her. By the time I got home, my phone was exploding. 28 text messages. 11 missed calls. 4 voicemails. The messages started confused. "Amanda, I can't believe you're doing this to me. Mom, please reconsider. Think about your sister." Then they got angry. "Dad, this is unacceptable. Call me back immediately. Amanda, you're the most selfish person I've ever met." Jason, Amanda's husband. "Family is supposed to help each other. Guess you didn't get that memo." By evening, they'd moved to guilt. "Mom, Amanda is crying herself to sleep. She's devastated. Is this really what you want? Dad, we took you in when you had nobody. We raised you. We gave you a home. This is how you repay us? Amanda, I've always supported you. Always been there for you. I guess it doesn't go both ways." That last one almost made me laugh. Amanda had never supported me, not once. She'd actively undermined me, mocked my achievements, and competed with me for scraps of our parents' attention. The voicemails were worse. My mother's voice was thick with tears. "Sophie, please, just call me back. We need to talk about this like a family." My father's was cold. "You're making a mistake. A very serious mistake. This will have consequences." Amanda's was hysterical. You're ruining my life. I'll never forgive you for this. Never. Jason's was manipulative. Hey, Sophie. It's Jason. Look, I know you're upset, but Amanda is really struggling. This IVF is our last hope. We wouldn't ask if we weren't desperate. Can you please just think about it? I read every message, listened to every voicemail. Not once did anyone acknowledge that they were asking me to give up my wedding. Not once did anyone say they understood why I might be upset. They wanted me to apologize. To change my mind? To put Amanda first like I'd been doing my entire life. I turned off my phone and went to bed. My best friend Lauren called the next morning from my emergency contact list. I heard your phone's off. Figured I'd try your work line. They won't stop calling, I said. Good, let them panic. Sophie, I need to tell you something. I waited. I've known your family for 10 years. I've watched how they treat you, and I've kept my mouth shut because you asked me to. But I can't anymore. Lauren, what they're doing is abuse. Financial abuse. Emotional abuse. They've trained you to believe you don't matter as much as Amanda. That your needs are less important. That you should be grateful for crumbs. I felt tears sting my eyes. You are the smartest, hardest working, most accomplished person I know. You put yourself through college. You earned your CPA. You climbed the ladder at your company faster than anyone in their history. You did all of that without their help. I know. Do you? Because from where I'm sitting, you still care what they think. You still want their approval. And Sophie, they're never going to give it to you. She was right. I knew she was right. What do? You get married. You have the most beautiful wedding, and you stop waiting for them to show up for you, because they won't. The email came 2 days later. Subject line, congratulations, promotion offer. I opened it with shaking hands. The CFO of my company was offering me the controller position effective immediately. They wanted me to start training before my wedding, so the transition would be smooth when I returned from my honeymoon. Salary, $120,000 a year. Plus bonus, plus stock options. I was 29 years old and being offered a position that most people didn't reach until their 40s. I read the email 3 times to make sure it was real. Then I accepted. My boss called an hour later. Sophie, congratulations. You've earned this. Thank you. You're the youngest controller this company has ever had. We're lucky to have you. Nobody in my family knew yet. I hadn't told them I was even being considered for the promotion. Why would I? So they could ignore it? Diminish it? Tell me it was nice but not as impressive as whatever Amanda was doing? I posted about it on LinkedIn. Kept it professional and brief. Excited to announce I've accepted the position of controller at TechFlow Industries. Grateful for this opportunity and looking forward to the next chapter. Within an hour, I had 83 likes and 42 comments. Colleagues congratulating me. Former professors proud of my success. Industry contacts reaching out. My mother was connected to me on LinkedIn. So was Amanda. Neither of them said a word. Not a text. Not a call. Not even a generic congratulations. The silence told me everything I needed to know. Amanda's best friend Jenna reached out 3 days before my wedding. We met for coffee. I almost said no, but curiosity got the better of me. I'm not here to convince you to give Amanda money, Jenna said immediately. I'm here because someone needs to tell you the truth. About what? About your sister. Sophie, she's lying. I set down my coffee. What do you mean? The IVF thing. It's real. They do need fertility treatments. But they have the money. What? Amanda's trust fund from your grandmother. She got access to it when she turned 30 last year. It was $80,000. I felt like I'd been punched. She spent $60,000 on a European vacation. Blew through another $15,000 on designer handbags and shoes. The last $5,000 went to some pyramid scheme skincare thing. How do you know this? I was with her when she checked the trust balance. I told her to save it. To invest it. She laughed and said money was meant to be enjoyed. Jenna pulled out her phone. Showed me Instagram posts. Amanda in Paris. Amanda in Italy. Amanda with shopping bags from Gucci and Prada. She could pay for the IVF herself if she hadn't blown all her money. But it's easier to guilt you into giving up your wedding. I stared at the photos. Why are you telling me this? Because I'm tired of watching her manipulate everyone around her. And because you deserve to know the truth. Jenna stood up. Don't cancel your wedding, Sophie. Don't give her a dime. She made her choices. You're not responsible for fixing them. She left. I sat there for 20 minutes looking at those Instagram photos. Amanda had money. She'd always had money. Money from our parents. Money from our grandmother. Money I'd never received because I was the adopted one, not real family. She'd spent it all on herself. And now she wanted mine. My wedding day was September 15th. 3 days before, my mother called from a number I didn't recognize. Sophie, we need to talk. No, we don't. Your father had a heart attack. My blood went cold. What? When? 2 days ago. He's stable now, but it was serious. The stress of this situation with you and Amanda put him in the hospital. I knew what she was doing. Knew it was manipulation, but fear still gripped my chest. Is he okay? He will be. If you stop this nonsense, Sophie, cancel the wedding. Give Amanda the money. Make this right before you kill your father. And there it was. That's not how heart attacks work, Mom. Stress is a major factor. You know that. If Dad had a heart attack, it's because of his diet, his weight, and the fact that he hasn't exercised in 20 years. Not because I'm getting married. You're unbelievable. I'm getting married in 3 days. You're all invited. If you choose not to come, that's your decision. We're not coming. None of us. You're choosing a party over your family. I'm choosing my life over your manipulation. I hung up. My hands were shaking. My heart was pounding. But I felt clear, certain I was done. My wedding day was perfect. Lauren was my maid of honor. David's sister stood up with me too. His parents treated me like a daughter. His grandmother cried happy tears. My family's seat sat empty. 4 chairs in the 3rd row that nobody filled. I'd prepared myself for it. Expected it, but it still hurt to see those empty spaces. David squeezed my hand as we stood at the altar. I'm your family now, he whispered. Me and everyone here who actually loves you. I looked out at the guests. 75 people who'd shown up for us. Friends, colleagues, David's huge extended family who'd welcomed me with open arms. Real family. Chosen family. We said our vows. Kissed as husband and wife. Walked down the aisle together. At the reception, David's father gave a toast. I've known Sophie for 2 years. In that time, she's become the daughter I never had. She's brilliant, kind, hardworking, and she makes my son happier than I've ever seen him. We're honored to officially welcome her to our family. Everyone cheered. I cried. Happy tears this time. This was what family was supposed to feel like. We were on our honeymoon in Hawaii when Amanda's Instagram post went viral. Lauren sent me a screenshot with a warning text first. Don't let this ruin your trip. But you should know. The post was a photo of Amanda crying. The caption was long. My sister got married today. She didn't invite me. Why? Because I asked her for help. My husband and I are struggling with infertility. We need IVF to have a baby. It's expensive and we can't afford it. I asked my sister if she could help, since she just got a huge promotion and is doing so well financially. She said no. Then she uninvited our entire family from her wedding because we supported me. I'm heartbroken. I'm losing my chance to be a mother because my sister cares more about a party than family. Please keep us in your prayers during this difficult time. The post had 3,000 likes. Hundreds of comments. Your sister sounds awful. Family should help family. I'm so sorry. This is why I don't trust people with money. They forget where they came from. I read it twice. Felt rage build in my chest. Then I did something I'd never done before. I responded publicly. I posted my own message. Kept it factual. Calm. Since my private family business is apparently public now, here are some facts. 1. I was told my family wouldn't attend my wedding because I refused to cancel it and give my sister $35,000 for IVF. 2. My sister received an $80,000 trust fund last year and spent it on luxury vacations and designer items instead of saving for fertility treatments. 3. I offered to help her research payment plans and financing options for IVF. She told me that wasn't good enough. 4. I was adopted at 7 years old. My biological parents left a trust fund of $750,000 for my care. My adoptive parents spent every penny on themselves and my sister. I received none of it. 5. I put myself through college, earned my CPA, and built my career without any financial support from my family. 6. I don't owe anyone my wedding fund, my promotion money, or my financial stability. I owe myself the life I've worked incredibly hard to build. I posted it. Then I turned off my phone and went back to enjoying my honeymoon. By the time we got back from Hawaii 2 weeks later, everything had exploded. My post had been shared 8,000 times. News outlets had picked it up. Woman exposes family's financial abuse after being pressured to cancel wedding was trending on 3 platforms. My parents' Facebook pages were flooded with angry messages. Amanda had deleted her Instagram entirely. But the real consequence came from someone I'd never expected. My biological grandmother. I didn't know she existed. My adoptive parents told me my biological family wanted nothing to do with me after my parents died. That was a lie. Margaret Chen was 74 years old and had been searching for me for 22 years. She'd hired lawyers, private investigators, but my adoptive parents had legally changed my last name and moved states. They'd made sure she couldn't find me. Until my story went viral and someone tagged her. She called me the day we got home from our honeymoon. Sophie. My name is Margaret Chen. I'm your father's mother. Your grandmother. I sat down hard on the couch. I've been looking for you since you were 7 years old. Your mother's family cut contact after the accident. But I never stopped trying to find you. The Morrisons made it impossible. She told me everything. My biological parents had set up a trust fund specifically for my education and care. $750,000. It was supposed to be managed by a trustee until I turned 25. The Morrisons convinced a judge they should have control. Then they spent it all. I have bank records, Margaret said. I have proof of what they did. And I have an attorney ready to file a lawsuit. A lawsuit? They stole from you, Sophie. They stole your inheritance, your future, your parents' legacy, and I want them to pay for it. The lawsuit was filed 2 months later. $750,000. Plus 22 years of compound interest. The total came to $2.1 million. My attorney was a woman named Helen Park. She was ruthless. We're going to bury them, she said matter-of-factly. We have bank records showing they spent your trust fund on Amanda's private school, their vacation home, luxury vehicles. None of it went to your care. The Morrisons tried to settle. Offered $200,000. Helen laughed. Tell them we'll see them in court. The trial lasted 3 weeks. Every detail of my childhood came out. The receipts showing they'd bought Amanda a car with my money, tuition payments to her private university from my trust fund, the vacation home purchased the year after they got control of my inheritance. Meanwhile, I'd lived in the basement, worn hand-me-downs, worked 3 jobs to pay for community college. The jury took 4 hours to deliberate. They ruled in my favor. $2.1 million in restitution, plus legal fees. The Morrisons didn't have it. Not even close. They lost everything. The house was sold at auction. The vacation property in Lake Tahoe. Both cars. My mother's jewelry. Even after selling everything, they were still $900,000 short. Wages garnished. Retirement accounts seized. Every asset liquidated. My father took a job at a hardware store. My mother went back to nursing, but nobody would hire her after being out of the field for 25 years. They moved into a 2-bedroom apartment in a neighborhood they used to call dangerous. Amanda's life fell apart too. Jason filed for divorce. Turned out he'd been having doubts for years about her spending habits and sense of entitlement. The lawsuit was the final straw. He'd been the one paying most of their bills. Without him, Amanda couldn't afford her house. She moved back in with our parents, into their tiny apartment. The woman who'd had everything handed to her was now sleeping on a pull-out couch in a bad part of town. My brother Kyle tried to stay neutral, tried to maintain relationships with everyone. His wife made him choose. I won't have our kids around people who stole from a child. Kyle chose his wife. I didn't blame him. But it meant he lost contact with our parents, too. They were furious he didn't defend them. The extended family fractured. Some reached out to apologize. Others took my parents' side. I blocked the ones who couldn't see the truth and stayed in touch with the few who'd always been kind. I built a new life. David and I bought a house. 3 bedrooms in a safe neighborhood with good schools. We were talking about kids, about a future. My job was thriving. As controller, I was leading financial strategy for a company on track to go public. I had real friends, real family. David's parents invited us to every holiday. His grandmother sent me birthday cards. Margaret, my biological grandmother, became a fixture in my life. We had dinner every Sunday. She told me stories about my real parents, showed me photos I'd never seen. You look just like your mother, she'd say. She would be so proud of you. I started therapy, worked through years of trauma and self-doubt, learned that the voice in my head telling me I wasn't good enough wasn't mine. It was theirs, and I could choose not to listen anymore. I donated money to causes that mattered. Foster care organizations, scholarship funds for kids from low-income families. I lived the life my family said I'd never have. Not to spite them, but because I finally believed I deserved it. My mother tried to reach out 2 years after the lawsuit. A letter arrived on expensive stationery. Her handwriting. Dear Sophie, I know we've had our difficulties. I know we made mistakes as parents, but I hope you can find it in your heart to forgive. Family is forever. I miss my daughter. I read it twice. There was no real apology, no acknowledgement of what they'd actually done. Just vague language about mistakes and difficulties. I put the letter in a drawer and never responded. 6 months later, my father had another heart attack. This one was serious. Kyle called. Sophie, he's asking for you. The doctors say it might be his last chance. I stood in my kitchen, phone pressed to my ear, facing the choice. Part of me wanted to go, wanted one last chance at closure. But I'd spent 29 years trying to earn their love. I was done. I hope he recovers, I said quietly. But I'm not coming. Sophie, please. A father protects his daughter, supports her, loves her. Gerald Morrison never did any of those things for me. I don't owe him a deathbed reconciliation. I hung up. He survived. And the messages started again. You're heartless. What kind of person doesn't visit their dying father? You'll regret this. Maybe I would. Maybe someday I'd wish I'd gone. But I'd spent my whole life living under the weight of their regret and disappointment. I could live with my own choices. I sent one final message through my attorney. Any further attempts to contact Sophie Morrison Chen through any means will be considered harassment and met with legal action. This is a final warning. After that, the attempts stopped. 3 years after walking out of that bridal shop, I finally understood something. It was never about me. Their cruelty wasn't because I wasn't good enough. It was because they weren't capable of real love. They only knew transactional relationships. Love that had to be earned, proven, bought. I'd spent my whole life trying to earn something they were never capable of giving. Once I understood that, the guilt disappeared. I didn't destroy them. They destroyed themselves through their own choices. My revenge wasn't making them suffer. It was building a life so full they became irrelevant. I stopped needing their approval. Stopped caring what they thought. Stopped defining myself by their rejection. The best revenge was my happiness. I'm 32 years old now. I wake up in a house I own with a husband who loves me. I go to a job where I'm valued and respected. I have a family. David's parents. My grandmother Margaret. Friends who show up when it matters. I'm pregnant with my first child. A daughter. We're naming her after my biological mother. I look in the mirror and see someone strong. Someone who survived. Someone who chose herself. The scared little girl who just wanted to be loved is still in there somewhere. But she's not afraid anymore. She's free. Thank you for listening to this story on Revenge Posts Within. If this resonated with you, if you've ever had to choose yourself over people who refuse to see your worth, you know how much courage that takes. Hit the like button, share this with someone who needs to hear they're not alone, and subscribe to Revenge Posts Within for more stories about finding your voice, setting boundaries and discovering that sometimes walking away is the bravest thing you can do.